Welcome back to Breakfast Central. Now, former NNPP presidential candidate Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso has signaled his readiness to return to the All Progressive Congress, but insists on clear and binding terms before doing so. Speaking in Kano, Kwankwaso recalled his role in the founding of the APC, claiming he and his allies faced harassment from anti-graft agencies and security operators during the party's formation.
He emphasized that while he's satisfied with the NNPP, he remains open to alliances based on honesty and fairness, including possible engagement with the PDP if it admits past mistakes. Kwankwaso lamented that despite his group's contributions to the APC's rise to power, they were sidelined during Buhari's 8-year administration and received no recognition. His remarks have brought up further conversation on APC's chances at the 2027 elections. Joining us to discuss this is National Publicity Secretary of the New Nigeria People's Party, Ladipo Johnson. Good morning and thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me once again.
All right. So in the statement, in the address, we could see Senator Kwankwaso. But before we tell you about, before I go into my question, I believe we have a second guest. We have the All Progressives Congress member, Dominic Alancha. Good morning, Dominic. Thank you for joining us. All right. I'll begin with Mr. Ladipo Johnson. In the speech, we could see Senator Kwankwaso talking about the role he played as a founding member of the APC and how they were sidelined, and how he's open to a collaboration of some sort with the APC and even with the PDP, so long as the details of the agreement are made public. How does that come across to you?
Well, it's been our position for a while now. If you recall, we've always said that we have several options off the table. And it's no different. It's just the way the news cycle goes and the sensationalism there for those who actually took the initial message and began to use and spread it. What he actually said was that, look, is what we've been saying, that he's open to, he's happy with the NNPP, but we're also open to discussions, whether with the APC or even the PDP or whosoever. What I think occurred was that there are some members who naturally want to affiliate with the APC. Some want to go with the ADC of the coalition. That was the word I was looking for. But he said to them at the meeting, he was saying to his caucus generally that, look, you say you want, some of you want to go to APC or want to work with the APC. Have they offered you anything? It's not just about Kwankwaso. It's about him, the membership of the caucus around the country and the party. It's not just the Kwankwaso movement. What is in it for members of the NNPP working with any side, whether it is the APC or the PDP or the ADC? So that was the context in which the statement was made. What we've said and what remains is that, look, we either have the option, because 2027 is fast approaching, to sit down and continue with the NNPP as we are, try to grow the party and do whatever we want to do. Or we can talk, which we are doing, talking to various people, and see if anything crystallizes. The bottom line is that there are some fundamental principles about one, and the most important, is about the direction of the country and about the platform. When I say the platform, I'm talking about things around the manifesto and what we believe in. And then apart from that, you now talk the political aspect of it, is that the members around the country, would there be a way to bring them in to any fold, or if you're having a marriage, to get them working together with other people, wherever they are, whether in Lagos or Ekiti or in the East, etc. So that was a context in which he spoke. But I think the sensational news that was that I'm ready to go to the APC, but I'm waiting for so offer.
All right. We'll come back and continue conversation, and then I will bring in Dominic Alancha into the conversation. But let's go on a very quick break. And when we come back, there's more to come. Stay with us. And now we're back to the conversation about Senator Kwankwaso and the possibility of him either aligning with the APC or the PDP if certain conditions are met. We're joined by Ladipo Johnson, who had given us a clearer picture of what was said earlier. We're also joined by Dominic Alancha. Good morning, Dominic Alancha. I'll come to you now and ask for your perspective as to what the possibility of an alignment between the NPP and the APC, and what you think that this might mean if that alignment were to happen.
Mr. Alancha, your audio is muted. Sorry? We can hear you now.
Yes,
go ahead.
Please go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much. I think this is from going by the rumor that has been making rounds. I think since last year, this is long overdue. And if it's happening right now, I think it is timely for the APC because, it has been rumored all this while that Kwankwaso is coming, into the party. And I like, what Kwankwaso is doing is demonstrating that he's a leader. If going by the statement that is out there, of his giving conditions to the APC before coming into the party. And one thing I like about what Kwankwaso is doing right now is the fact that he's putting interest of the Kwankwasia movement before any other thing. In the statement I read, he made it categorically clear that he will not, align with any political party that would sideline or shortchange or use and dump members of his movement, members of his party, the ANPP and the NNPP, and the Kwankwasia movement. So he wants to solidify that agreement and make it concrete so that he will be able to attract tangible benefit for his people. But for the APC, I think they will celebrate this because given the coalition talks that has been ongoing, which, eventually we are seeing it being consummated, in the recognition of the leadership of the APC, they actually pose a threat, to the APC, especially in the north, because as we speak with you right now, the impression being created or the perception is that APC is no longer a dominant party or an acceptable party to northern people. Given the fact that the northern people felt shortchanged, certain persons felt shortchanged, and stuff like that. So for me, I think he's coming into the APC. They are going to celebrate it because he's coming with some sort of value. If you look at the Kwankwasia movement, talking of grassroots, particularly in Northwest, I won't say the northern Nigeria, because if you look at 2022 performance of Kwankwaso and the NNPP, you would agree with me that his dominance is, in Northwest, because in the Northwest, that's where he was able to garner some votes that added to the 900 and something thousand votes he got in Kano that he came out in the election. So it's not some sort that APC take advantage of, especially in terms, harvesting the votes, in the already existing bank, voters bank of the NNPP, because the time is coming in the APC is coming with all of those votes, into the, so for me, the Kwasiam, the NNPP, to some extent, it's well rooted in Northwest, and it will be a game changer for all the APC in the Northwest. Okay. Given also the fact that if you look at what is happening, the coalition are not in talk. I don't think they're really talking with Kwankwaso, and he will want to remain relevant because I don't see him having the capacity to stand alone and run election in 2027. He needs alignment,
Okay, thank you, Mr. Alancha.
In his political relevance, he's coming to replace, Shetima. And those are some of the questions that Nigerians need to begin to ask. Those are the questions that, Kwankwaso himself, what is his interest really? Beyond the fact that he's fighting for the interests of the Kwankwaso movement, there are rumors that Shetima will be replaced with him. And it's going to be a serious one. The Northeast are already drawn, they are battle drawn that if Shetima is replaced, they are going to vote against APC. The Muslim ticket is another issue, that some of us that are in the APC are against. And we are saying that Tinubu should replace, should not fly a Muslim ticket in 2027.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alancha. I would like to bring in Mr. Ladipo Johnson back into the conversation. Mr. Ladipo Johnson, it seems Mr. Alancha just opened Pandora's box. They seem to actually want Mr. Kwankwaso more than Mr. Kwankwaso wants to go to the APC. But just also following what Mr. Alancha just said, now, as we inch closer to 2027, time is ticking. In 2026, the country will get into full political mode. Do you think this is a done deal? Has the decision been made already? And if you could put a timeline to it, when do you think this transfer move, to put it in football parlance, would be made or not made? When do we get a final decision on this?
Well, I do not think that it is a done deal. As I said earlier, the dynamics are there. A lot depends on what happens when talks happen, and what I don't want to say what is on the table, but basically, Mr. Alancha has spoken about the position of the APC. If you were a strategist for the president, then starting from the point of view, in reality, that northern Nigeria on the whole are not so happy with the last 2-3 years, then you try to see, and when you look at the CPC part of the APC after the unfortunate death of President Buhari, then you know that people like the former Attorney General, et cetera, El Rufai, are not or are no longer whining and dining with the APC. Then you know that there's a hole for Mr. President in his in the electoral map to get back into Aso Rock in 2027. Now, Kano, as you well know, usually has the highest voter turnout, and the votes there are heavy. That's why we say in political terms, when you talk about Kano, you are talking of about 4 or 5 states, you understand? Now, if the APC are able to get Kano into one box, in the sense that the Deputy Senate President and others, Ganduje, are within the APC fold. Now, if the major part of Kano, which is now independent, as in NNPP, not ADC, not APC. If that comes within the column of the APC, then most likely the election is over by 12 noon, as we always say. You understand? So those are the things there. But as I said, and as Senator Kwankwaso said, from his statement, it's very clear that there are either people talking to him or haven't spoken to him or what have you. There's still issues there. So, but to your question directly, the timeline is getting shorter. Personally, I think not personally, the NNPP will begin its World Congresses, say by November, December, into early next year, where you now have the convention. After the convention, then most likely by the convention, you have to know whether you're staying alone or whether you're entering one marriage or the other, whether with the APC or with some form of coalition. You have to know that within latest by the end of first quarter next year, I believe. Because I think, I'm not certain now, by June, July, the candidates of parties must have emerged. Because the election is probably in February, and you know the Electoral Act now gives some 6 months for campaign or what have you. So the time is running short, is much shorter, and your question alluded to that, the timeline. So I think over December, whatever move has to be made has to be made.
Okay, I mean, you said whatever move has to be made, has to be made. Let's also get Mr. Alancha's thoughts and responses to some of the things that you've said.
Can you come with the question again, please?
I was saying, do you have a response to, you know, what Mr. Johnson had said this morning?
Well, it's not something really new because, like I said, the APC is doing all it can to ensure that somebody like Kwankwaso, who has, you know, a northern appeal and a grassroots value, you know, to add to the APC, comes to the fore. Because he's coming into the APC is going to be, you know, an advantage to the APC, especially in the Northwest, you know. So the timeline is talking about, I said, you know, that there is need for us to answer certain, you know, questions. If not, is going to create a lot of crisis for the APC, because whenever he comes into the APC, you know that there will be alignment and realignment, and that alignment and realignment will display, you know, certain persons who have some, you know, on, you know, certain positions right now. For example, you know, the Vice President Shetima, you know, could be replaced with Kwankwaso, because I can tell you that that permutation is also on the table being discussed. They are looking at the electoral value that Kwankwaso is bringing to the table to be higher, to be more at stake, you know, than the political value that Shetima brings to the table. And any day, anytime, if you ask me, I will tell you that the president would rather go with Kwankwaso, you know, than going with Shetima. Because even right now, there is no, you know, I don't think there is a cordial relationship that exists between them. Otherwise,
why do you say so? Do you have any evidence,
you know,
to back up your claims, Mr. Alancha? Why do you suspect the president will replace the current vice president, Mr. Shetima? And what gave you why do you say that they're not in good terms? Do you have any evidence to back your claims?
No, what I'm saying that if you look at in terms of electoral value, you cannot compare the electoral value of Kwankwaso with Shetima. Shetima does not really have a grip on the North. If he does, what is happening in the northern Nigeria today with regards to their rejection of the APC would not have been happy. And that is why I am saying, if Kwankwaso comes into the party, he could, displace certain persons from their current position, because there will be realignment and alignment, the moment he comes into the party. And one of the issues, being discussed, as part of his interest is the vice presidential, ticket, to Tinubu. And if you look at it in real sense, value in terms of electoral value, Kwankwaso has more value to add to the APC than, Shetima as it currently stands. So what I'm saying is, if there was, a cordial relationship existing between the president and, the Vice President Kashim Shettima.
Okay. We unfortunately have lost connection to Mr. Alancha. We have Mr. Ladipo Johnson. Final thoughts. If you can share in 1 minute, he believes that NNPP stands, or APC stands a greater chance aligning with the NNPP, as he believes that Alhaji Kashim Shettima doesn't have as much influence over the North as your principal does. And I'm sure you're probably excited by hearing him say that. But let's get your final thoughts before we wrap up the conversation.
Well, being excited about what he said, my final thoughts are that the party, that's the NNPP, and Senator Kwankwaso for that matter, are open. We are open. We said that immediately after 2023, because at the end of the day, what is important to us is, as we say, we deal with the masses, is to get this country moving. And whichever way, whatever we have to do, apart from our own personal feelings and what have you, we would try to do to make sure that we improve governance in the country. Now, whether that is joining the APC or going with some coalition remains to be seen, because you have to sit down and talk. There are two things when you sit and talk. One is the interests of the party or individuals. The second is, if you actually stand for something, which we do, you now have to talk to them that, okay, we know you're not doing this or you don't want to do it, but at least when it comes to education, can you do this? When it comes to healthcare, can we do this, etc.? That's the platform. The platform has to be, you don't want to be odd bedfellows. There's no point. It will just go through you just go through the elections and then fall apart afterwards. We're not going to do that. So whichever way it is, we are still open. But as you rightly said in your earlier question, the timeline is getting shorter and things have to begin to move properly.
Ladipo Johnson, Dominic Alancha, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us this morning on Breakfast Central. And we'll count down to 2027 and see what moves and strategies will be employed as we proceed to the polls. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.